Thank you very much, Ola. Appreciate that. And thanks everyone for joining us this evening or my evening. I really do appreciate it. I know how busy you are. So let's get into it. Who is Green Safaris? So Green Safaris is first and foremost a foundation. Shortly after building ILA in the middle of Kafue, Vincent, our MD and founder, realized that he needed to work with communities around our ecosystems in order to protect those ecosystems going forward. So he went off to the Netherlands and started a foundation, got some big business to invest, and they then set out an agenda of what they wanted to do. And mainly it was around making communities more self-reliant, in other words, giving them water security away from rivers, teaching them how to grow on a bigger scale in terms of food sources, farming with protein sources now that they have water security and food security. Also skill centers, training centers, teaching them how to build their check dams with the equipment that they have so they can then go on and teach other communities how to do it. Creating jobs, obviously, in the community farms as well as in the lodges that we built and bought. Working inside the park as well with research projects, anti-poaching units, and African parks who are now part of Kafue and have now taken those Zambezi as well from a management perspective. And yeah, so that's how we ended up in tourism. So it started as a foundation and we've gone into tourism, which is turned into its own machine on its own. So I could sit and talk for about an hour, I think, just on our foundation. But the purposes of this webinar is more to talk about our lodges. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, ILA was built, and then shortly afterwards in 2018, Mawa came up for sale. James was heading back to Europe, and so and there's a community on that island that relies solely on Mawa for a secondary income. Their main income comes from fishing, and obviously protecting an ecosystem like a lake as well is also important as the land. And so they saw the opportunity there and purchased that. In 2019, Ben, who was James's brother-in-law, suddenly passed away. And so they purchased Tongabezi and Sindabezi, as well as the Livingston Island concession in 2020. In 21, they built Chisa and Shawa, continued to do that even during COVID, as their promises to the chiefdoms in those areas. And then in 23, Jason was selling sausage stew and potato bush, so we bought that as the last piece of the puzzle. So our footprint when we build is pretty much, we build small, we build off the ground. It's about our footprint, really. To be fully green, one shouldn't really be building big sprawling lodges with concrete and et cetera. But obviously the properties we bought already had an existing footprint, but we have used that to continue integrating our green concepts through electric boats and electric vehicles, and working with communities close to those lodges, and greenifying them as much as possible. So when we bought Sausage Chicken Potato Bush, one of the things that we did was we introduced the Wings and Wheels incentive. Sitting down, we realized one of the barriers to entry to Zambia is, trying to put the puzzle together, only having one, domestic airline operating and only in certain areas, made it difficult, long downtimes in Lusaka Airport, or having to overnight, et cetera. So we introduced the Wings and Wheels. So if you are 4 nights or more on our circuit, so not 4 nights in one lodge, 4 nights on the circuit, we will include the internal flights in the nightly rate. So it's not just that. We do have our VIP meet and greets at all the airports. We have an airport lounge in Lusaka. We don't want anyone wandering around Lusaka Airport not knowing where to go. Livingston Airport, we have an office there as well as an airport manager, and we do airside meet and greet there. Luangwa, we NASA Air, with which we are a shareholder of as well. And we do plainside meet and greet there, a minor shareholder of NASA. So yeah, I mean, we don't just, actually it is a seat in charter flight. So it's not private, but it is Green Safari's clients on board. In the instances where the scheduled airlines work, we will also use those. So if a client is coming in and it works that a pro flight from Lusaka to Mafiri is traveling, we could use those aircraft as well. We also do use Ethiopia from Lusaka to Luangwa if the clients are not coming out of South Luangwa but are adding on Mawa. That also forms part of the wings and wheels. And then included in the nightly rate is also all our conservation levies and park levies and foundation fees, and anything else is all included in your nightly rate. So you don't have to worry about, did I leave out a transfer cost? Is there a tax that I wasn't aware of? Et cetera, et cetera. So it makes it very, very easy to quote. You're just taking that nightly rate, timesing it by the amount of nights, and then you're covered end to end. And the videos I show you now are available on Where To. They're available on Safari Portal. They're available on TripClip, YouTube. And we find providing itineraries to clients using the videos really helps me seal the deal, as they say. And you'll see why as you go through and watch the videos. So we do encourage you when doing itineraries to clients to have a digital itinerary of some form, so that they can see what they're getting. It's certainly a country that is not, it needs to be sold and not asked for. We do know that. And so we are trying to make it as easy as possible for you to sell it, or at least offer it alongside another itinerary that you may be offering a client, so they can actually see what they could be getting in Zambia as well. And we're finding a lot of our clients have managed to increase their Zambia business that way. Okay, so Victoria Falls, where we're starting with Livingstone and Tongabezi. This here is Livingstone Island over here. This part here is Zambia, and this part here is Zimbabwe. And then that stretches right across. And then this is the Turco Gorge running down. So I'm going to go straight into showing you the videos, and then we can talk about where and what we do, etc. Just to speed up some time. I'm going to mute the sound because I know people can't hear me when the sound is on. So Tongabezi is on the Zambezi River. It's about 25 minutes from the falls, 25 minutes from Livingstone Airport, exactly an hour and a half from Vic Falls Airport in Zimbabwe. We are known for the fact that we have valets. We have different types of rooms, some premier rooms with plunge pools, tree houses, some river cottage rooms, which are at river level. We make dining an experience. Every single dining is private, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So a client can have all three in their bedroom if they want. Or we can go out on an electric boat on the river, or a floating platform having dinner, or a picnic on an island. We've introduced a garden lunch where you can go and forage in our organic garden for food with the chef, and then they cook it in front of you. Breakfast on Livingstone Island is included with breezers that we have included now. We have also included, when you're staying at Tongabezi or Sindabezi, seeing falls from all angles. So doing away with that discussion of which side of the falls must we stay. We offer, included in the rate, a tour of the falls on the Zimbabwe side, tour of the falls on the Zambian side, Livingstone Island, and then Lunar Rainbow, which is where the full moon comes up. The all valets set up a whole little bar and snack station for you there, and you end up watching the lunar rainbow come alive. We do picnics on islands. We do beautiful sandbars. These are our valets. There's the floating dinner. The valets have formed their own choir, and they come out and sing, which is wonderful. Zambian songs, which is great. And so this is all what makes us unique as Tongabezi. We're the only lodge, I think, in the whole region that offers the variety that we do. There isn't one main area that you're going to have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner in. As I said, it's all private, but there are 4 main areas of Tongabezi, 2 swimming pools, 1 lap pool that's heated. And so there's always places to discover, and even if you're out your room and you're in a main area, you're still going to feel like you're in a private space, if you will. The Sindabezi is a lodge on the island in the middle of the Zambezi. It's downstream from Tongabezi. It's got its own launch site quite close. Back in the day, you had to go to Tongabezi and then come down from there to the island. And it was only opened when we had guests, but now it's open 24/7, 365 days a year. And it's got its own team manager, chef, etc. on the island, and valets as well. You get the same inclusions and exclusions at Sindabezi. You would also Tongabezi you would also get at Sindabezi. We obviously do offer the bog standard what everybody else does in terms of fishing and sundowner cruises, etc. But yeah, as I said, we offer so much more as well. That's our electric boat going down. It's quite amazing to go down the river with a silent boat and it's moving. What's lovely about Sindabezi is it's only got 5 rooms. So if you happen to have a group of 8 or 10, you can take the whole island exclusively. And that's, I think there's something luxurious about having your own island in the middle of the Zambezi. It also has its own swimming pool. And as I said, you can still come off the island at night if you wanted to go and do a train dinner or something like that, because the launch site is very close. In the days gone by, unfortunately, you had to, once you were on the island, you had to stay on the island, but that's changed. That's just another image of our floating platforms for dinners. We also do breakfast on them as well, our electric dhow boats. And then, as I said, Livingston Island is included. There's a picture of Devil's Pool. We now have 3 pools, which I'll talk about. This is our launch site. We opened this in November 23. And those recycled chandeliers you see there come from our skills center on Mawa, which, as I said, is important. We have a skills center also at Tongabezi. And that is made from recycled glass and recycled copper from geysers. So it's got a little curio shop here and a coffee shop. So it's just a really nice place to meet up with the guys. So these are just little videos of Livingston Island. We try to open all year round, except for probably about 6 weeks when the water is too high. If the river is risen really, really high, that particular year it may close for longer, but we do let you know in our newsletters when it's opened and closed. It's got Angel's Pool, Rock Pool. Actually, Rock Pool is the first pool to open, then Angel's Pool, and then Devil's Pool. So we try to get everybody in the water, if you will. Then moving on to Lower Zambezi, one of the wonderful things about Zambia is all 3 parks are completely different. You even think you're in a different country, which is wonderful. I know, I'm sure all of you often get agents or clients who say, oh, I want to go to 2 different areas. And I always think, in South Africa, they end up going to the Timbavati and then to the Sabi Sands. But actually, those are really the same thing. Whereas here, it is completely different. And you'll see on the videos what I mean by that. Tongabezi, Sausage Tree and Potato Bush are based in the park. And the Lower Zambezi operates very differently. You've got Mana pools on the opposite side. But it operates very differently because it's got a mountain range at the back here. And so it captures the game between the river and the mountain. So exceptional game viewing on land. But also the river is shallow. And so you get a lot of game in the river as well. So if we offer canoeing, tiger fishing, sunshine cruises, etc. And so, it's the best tiger fishing in the world. And so while you're doing those activities, you're always seeing game as well. Sausage Tree has 7 rooms or suites and then 1 family suite. When we took over, we did a lot of work on this. We introduced air conditioners in the rooms. We pulled the bar forward so that you can be looking over the river while you are sitting at the bar. We feminized it up a bit. We changed all the linen, crockery, cutlery, glassware, mosquito nets, towels, etc. We smashed the back of house down and redid it because it badly needed a fixing. We've kept those magic moments. We call them all magic moments that Jason loved. The fact that we do private vehicles, the fact that we're doing private boats, private skippers, private guides are very unique to us. But we also do the water lunches that Jason introduced. We've changed the hovercraft boat to electric now, and slowly but surely all of our boats will be changed to electric as part of the green mantra. But we also have introduced picnic lunches. We've introduced sandbars. We've introduced bush dinners, which is great because when I was here in July for the 4 nights, we spent most of our time on the river. And actually coming back once from the Sundowners and one from the bush dinner, we bumped into leopard on the way back, which is great. That's why you're in the park. You want to be able to do that. But you'll see in the video, there's always elephants and buffalo and waterbuck and hippo and crocodiles and all of that around you all the time, which is amazing, and it makes this river so absolutely magical. I think I did mention tiger fishing is great, and also it's a great photography area because I call them Jesus elephants because they've got these sandbanks, and when the elephants walk on them, it looks like they're walking on water. So you get the most incredible photography. Also, if you happen to be in a boat fishing and there's an elephant up on the bank, you can almost be underneath him taking the most incredible photographs as well. So these are our bush dinners that we're doing. And that's the new bar that faces out over the river. And this is where the old bar was and how we feminized it. We've also put in these finishing stations where chefs can talk to guests, because we know it's a very difficult thing to get food 100% right for every single guest. You know, this guest wants more sauce, that one wants more protein, this one wants more salads. So, you know, we find that having that interaction with the chef at the finishing stations allows guests to really get the best out of their culinary experience with us, which we are pleased to say we're achieving, because we are scoring 5 stars for our food at the moment as well, which is really, really great. And there's those chandeliers again that comes from our skill centers. So plunge pools, very nice big rooms, and that's your view out over the river. And then next door is Potato Bush. Potato Bush is like Sindabezi is to Tongabezi. It's a bush camp next door. You can actually walk from one to the other. 4 rooms. One is a family room. And so a little bit more communal dining here. But if your clients are staying here and they want only private dining, just let us know. We'll do that. The in-camp dining at Sausage Tree is private, but out of camp, as I said, the water lunches and the picnics and that are not private. So again, if your client wants that, please do share it with us. Don't guarantee it, but we do try to manage the expectation around it. As well as walking. We walk in all of our parks, but we only have so many Zawa guides that get allocated to us. So we unfortunately can't offer walking privately. But again, let's just let us know that that's their client's preference, and we will manage the expectation and try and get it right. We've also introduced a boma down at the river level at Potato Bush, and right next to it, which is out of the image here, we've also put a bar around a tree, which this didn't have before we took it on. We've just rescreeded all the floors and replaced the stackaway doors with sliding doors, so it isn't as dark when you close the room. So it's really looking amazing, Potato Bush. Also, all the rooms have plunge pools, which you can see there. That's our family room, etc. And then moving up to, now nothing is more than sort of an hour to an hour and a half away, and some only 25 minutes. For example, Lusaka to Jeki is 25 minutes. Ilo to Chisa is only 25 minutes. When we're doing our wings and wheels, we try to go as direct as possible, but sometimes financially that doesn't make sense. For example, 2 people coming out of Livingston and 2 people coming out of Chisa, and they're all going down to Sausage Tree. We're obviously going to meet up in Lusaka and then continue on. We map our flights at 30 days out. So we give you some idea of what the routing is going to be, but we reconfirm in camp with our clients 24 hours out. So this is Kafue National Park. There's no scheduled airlines that fly in here. So everything is seat in charter that comes in for us. And we have Ila in the central area, and we have Busanga up in the northern area. It's the size of Massachusetts or Wales, to give us sort of some context. The actual Busanga Plains at the top here is the size of the Masai Mara, with only 4 lodges on it. So Ila Safari Lodge is also on the Kafue River, where is sausage trees on the lower Zambezi. It's another river lodge, which is great. And it's a better price point. So if clients are a price point, have a price point issue, then Ila is absolutely perfect. It's a bigger room, 10 lodges, bigger rooms, listen to me, bigger lodge, 10 rooms, 2 family rooms, 2 rooms with bars on the deck. We also have, which I'll show you just now, a little villa, electric boat, which we do brunches on or breakfasts or sundowner cruises. We also have a total of 8 electric vehicles so far on our circuit, and we're busy replacing all the others. It's just going to take a lot longer because our supplier closed down during COVID, and we are building them ourselves now in Lusaka. But we obviously are committed to that. Just showing you some more images. This is the image of the one with the bath on the deck. And then I will show you the images of the villa. So this is the villa. The villa has 2 doubles and 5 twins. So it's absolutely perfect for 2 families that are traveling together. They can take the whole house to themselves. And looking over the Kafue River, much like the main area. You can actually walk from the main area to the villa back again. So if you had a bigger group, you could actually have the whole place. Then up into the Busanga Plains, which is my most... I just absolutely love this place. I mean, having sold Zambia for 15 years, I only got into this area for the first time in 21, because beforehand you had to charter a whole plane to get in here. And with our wings and wheels, it's now more accessible. It is drop dead gorgeous. It looks just like the Masai Mara. And we have 4 nests built off the ground. It's very unique and Instagrammable, as I say. I was here in July for 3 days, saw 36 lions in 3 days. We were with some 3 cheetahs. They were hunting, and we sat with them for 2 hours. We didn't see another vehicle. Big herds of roan, sable, which you don't get in the other parks in Zambia. We went one day, we went out for one morning drive all the way to a section where, because I had never seen Tatatonga and I wanted to see Tatatonga, and we found our Tatatonga, which I was very excited about. Newton there, you saw in the video, won Guide of the Year in Zambia, which we're very proud of. He's an exceptional guide. Photographic opportunities here is also amazing because you've got that horizon, and that when that sun sets, or rises, it's incredible. You get the red lechwe jumping over the channels. I have the most incredible videos of little 6-week-old lion cubs playing and suckling, and yeah, no, just absolutely exceptional. Big herds of buffalo here as well, and elephants. So yeah, just an absolutely incredible park without the density of the vehicles. That's actually one of our electric vehicles. So please don't guarantee electric. We do try our best to have everyone do an electric or a silent safari. But obviously our move is to, as I said before, to get to a point where all our vehicles are electric as well as our backups are electric. Electric can be very temperamental. So you do need to have backup vehicles. And right now our backups are diesel. So here we have 2 electric vehicles. Only 4 nests, so that's fine. But if one of them goes down, then we do have a diesel backup. A diesel takes 3 hours to bring up. An electric can take 3 weeks to bring up. So this is the interior of the nests. This is the air conditioner that over the bed. This is your zip up, and then this is your roll down. Like any planes, in winter it can get quite cold. So this gets dropped and water bottles are put on your bed. I actually found it too hot to kick the water bottle out at night. But by the time lunchtime came, I was using the aircon. So, you know, and that was in July, in the middle of winter. So it does warm up quite nicely over the plains or in Zambia itself. One of them has got a lift for anybody with mobility issues. It's got a proper door that closes at the front. And then use these little window holes here are not open as per se. They've got like a plastic covering on them, as well as the back behind the bed. So that doesn't open. It's only the front that opens. But yeah, small camp, only 8 people if it's fully booked. We are considering building one more, but then we will bring on one other vehicle, simply because it's running at 85% occupancy at the moment. And in order to complete the circuit, this has obviously become incredibly popular. Before, it used to be a South Luangwa Lower Zam combo, but now it's more and more becoming a Chisa Lower Zam combo, to be fair. Just some more images. We always have, all of our lodges, we always have some sort of authenticness around bush camps. But also still with the modernness of how we serve food. We try to, to farm to table in terms of our fresh food, vegetables, as well as protein. It can be very heavy going on safari with all the food that gets offered to you. So we try to make sure there's freshness all the way. Then moving up to Shawa. Shawa, we are a little bit north of Kafue Airport. It takes 45 minutes from Kafue to get to us. If you went through the gate, it would take an hour and a half up north. We do not do game drive around this area because it can get very congested with vehicles. So we go north when we do safari. And we also have our own road carved out into the Insefu sector. And if you know, you'll know that this is a very game-rich area. So we're one of the few that does game drive on both in Insefu and inside the South Luangwa National Park. We've got a boat that does its own little crossing. The vehicle goes over on a pontoon, but the boat crossing is like, I don't know, 30-second crossing. And then we go north. And of course, South Luangwa is well known for its leopard. One of the reasons is we haven't had elephants smash all our trees down. So lots of big trees that create safe havens for leopards to breed. It's also, sorry, just hold on, guys. My children lost my train of thought. And also there's a lot of general game, so their territories are small, and when leopards' territories they are small, it allows for more leopards to create territories, and a female needs a territory to mate. So that's why this area is really well known for its leopard sightings, but obviously also lions, wild dog. It's home to the Thornycroft giraffe. Yeah, just really an amazing thing. Now, you saw the rooms are the tented rooms. We are building 2 deluxe rooms. This is the artistic image of it. It's going to be completely open with, it's actually got what we call the boon-proof mesh all the way around, and then with the roll downs. But it's not going to have the roof, so bugs can't get in, put it that way. So for those guests who have a bug averse, then we put them in the deluxe room, and we're building 2 of these and bringing on more vehicles. This will hopefully be in situ by November, but then ready to book for the next season. And then, yeah, so you could be here having breakfast, and then by lunchtime, you're on Lekoma Island. So this is an hour, and this is an hour to get there. On what we call an 18 square kilometer Lekoma Island, and we're the only lodge on the island, which I again think is magnificent, having been, and I won't mention the name, but having been somewhere where I was literally being shoved under the water while I was snorkeling, this made sense why you would want to be in a place where you literally have it to yourself. We've got premier rooms. They're all very different. Premier rooms that have plunge pools and air conditioners and coffee machines. And then we have 4 standard rooms that are right at lake level that have direct access into what I call your big plunge pool. And then we have 2 standard families on the beach, and then 2 premier families and 1 4-bedroom premier house, sole use villa also on the island. The valet concept that works at Tongabezi and at Sausage Tree, we have now, as of March, pushed through the rest of the circuit. They're obviously still junior valets, they're still learning, but it's about creating jobs, and that's where we felt we could employ more people. And so Mawa is also on that as well. But this lake is warm all year round, 26 to 30 degrees. It's I've swum here in June, I've swum here in November, I've swum here in March. It's just incredible. So you can be on that winter safari and you can be here swimming. Nowhere do you engage more authentically with community than on this island. There's the marimba band that we support financially, as well as Martin's band you saw there. They come down and perform, and it's wonderful sitting there watching the sunset and listening to them singing. You can go and visit all of our projects on the island as well. There's a cathedral that houses 2,000 people. If your client happens to be there on a Sunday, you can watch 2,000 people singing and dancing. So it's a very authentic engagement, not put on, which I think is important. And this is what the water looks like when you're there. It's incredible. I actually forget all the time that it's a lake and not a beach. I keep referring to it as a beach. Food is amazing as well. I mean, you can see how crystal clear the water is there. This is the direct access from one of the standard rooms right into the lake. You can snorkel right off your room. When I was here, my son was 11 and he cried when he left here. He snorkeled every morning. He fished every morning off the rocks while I was sleeping. I've actually got a picture of him in that bath. You can see there's the other plunge pool here. This room actually has got wraparound decks all the way around it, so you can have breakfast out there as well, and watch the sunrise if you wanted, and have coffee there. It's amazing. So yeah, really beautiful. Water skiing, tubing, bubble school for kids, full paddy diving for adults, canoeing, sailing. Yeah, take e-bikes, go out into the community. It's really, really amazing into a circuit. And then, of course, traveling with us, you're really traveling with a purpose. But if your clients want to engage more with our community projects, they can. Please do go visit our Green Safaris Foundation website. You can download our audited report, as well as have a look at all of our projects that we're doing. This is sort of just a snapshot of it and how we gauge ourselves. This is one of the skill centers on Mawa, where those recycled chandeliers I was showing you earlier come from. So there's the copper and the glass, and this is the rudimentary thing that they use to sandblast the glass using the sand and water from the lake. They run it for 24 hours and it comes out sandblasted. This is termite mud beads that they use to dry, and then they paint them black, blue, or white. This is a teething beads that come, and then of course some of the stuff gets brought in by the foundation, because obviously linen doesn't come from Lacoma Island, nor do the shells. But interestingly, this pattern here on this cushion is a cichlid fish in Lake Malawi makes a nest like that on the floor of the lake to attract a mate. And David Attenborough does something about that on planet Earth. And yeah, that's us in a nutshell.